Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I'm going to attack these drop targets. This Harlem Globetrotters is way too pretty to keep these ugly things. We'll replace them with something that looks like that instead. By the way, when you order these drop targets, especially these old Ballys, there's two different styles. This is I guess kind of the normal style. And there's also the tombstone that does not have this lip on the top. So you have to look at the game. Some of them have this style and some of them are just square at the top. They don't have that lip on both sides. This one takes the lip, so that's what this one's getting. There's only about $4 a piece from a Pinball Resource, pretty cheap. So I'm going to put y'all on the stand and show you the way I do it anyway. Alright, so the tools I use for this job are magnetic tray, dental tool, alcohol, a rag, needle nose pliers, and a really small flat screwdriver. Oh, and a regular screwdriver, or a regular Phillips screwdriver. Regular because that's most of the time on the pinball machine. So there's 4 Phillips heads. I'm going to take those out. Throw them in my magnetic tray. I would normally take a picture of this, just this back plate. There's about 3 different ways you can put it back. Only one of them is right. But I've got this video to look at, so I've done it quite a number of times. So this back piece here is slotted, so this goes up and down. It defines how high the top of these sit. So this is how you adjust the top of these drop targets so that the ball will roll smoothly across them. This piece here just comes off, and now we can go ahead and yank this and get it out of the way. Just drop our drop targets. And each one of these has a little C-clip. And the most fun thing is these things love to shoot across the room. And the smaller the screwdriver, the easier it is to pierce your skin too. Actually, for these, I'm gonna get a little small pick. And that one. So we'll take that off. Move the spring from one side. I'll just leave that hanging there. Really don't like using that. These C-clips are a little funny looking. There we go. And don't throw these suckers away, because obviously you got to take this little hardware and put it on the new piece. I'm going to pause y'all here. All right, so I got the 4 drop targets out of there. Next thing is just clean this up a little bit. This one's not actually that dirty. The one thing you want to kind of focus on is the plunger. Keep clean that out a little bit. And you can change the sleeve out. I'm not going to. This one's actually, it's a little dirty, but it's not all gunked up. Nobody's spreading a WD-40 in there. So I'm just going to get a little bit of alcohol. Yeah, get a little bit, but not that much. Get a couple of Q-tips here. This is not what I could consider like a plunger or a performance type plunger, like where it really, like if you're flippers, you know, I would never leave the sleeve for a flipper or a pop bumper or a slingshot, where how well it works really makes a difference. This one, if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. It's not really a performance kind of issue. It's just got to reset, and it's got a huge coil on there, so it'll be fine. And I'm just gonna, while I've got access, just kind of clean all the gunk, because nobody else is going to be in here forever. Another place to kind of focus on cleaning is these blades here, because those are going to be moving and sliding up and get through those slots. And this one is actually not that dirty, but a lot of time people will squirt juice of different varieties, WD-40 and everything else, and they just get all grody and nasty. Just clean them up a little bit. Like I said, this one's not actually that bad. Next thing I'm going to do is take all these off of here. So it's the same exact fitting. These are a little bit easier to get off, mostly just because you can get it in your hand. And I'm going to take all these parts, throw them in my magnetic tray. And if you're going to do this, if you're going to order your parts, you might as well order a couple of C-clips, because you're liable to lose a couple. Speaking from experience. Okay, so now everything's part. The next part is real important. My hands were kind of clean when I started. Before I open this bag up, I'm going to go wash my hands, because the last thing I want to do is get all that plastic, all clean plastic dirty. So I already put the first one in there. Before I did, I washed my hands. I took the hardware and I put the whole magnetic tray in the parts, and I put it in the ultrasonic. I got to put the hardware in the bottom of this. It's got to go on the top. Doesn't really matter which way the shaft can go in from either side. It doesn't really matter. That's where I use the needle nose pliers. I use the shaft there to squeeze across to pop that in there. And always start at the bottom and go up. Just it makes it easier to get your hands in here. Don't forget to put the spring on here before you put it in. That makes it a little easier. Probably can't see this. I'll get this other C-clip on there. One. Go ahead and get those jammed up out of the way, and then I'm going to put the other two on there. We'll see where we're at. Okay, so I got the 4 drop targets in there. I'm going to put the base plate on here. Just got to line up these fingers. And it's got to go, the back of it's got to go on the other back of the other side. And I'm going to go ahead and put in, just finger tight a couple of these just to hold this in place for a second. There's one less plate, so this one goes in like this, and I'm gonna again put these screws in, just get them started here. For this back plate, I'm just going to get it firm so I can still move it a little bit by hand, because this one we're going to have to adjust. I'm going to put it flush to start with because it's probably going to be pretty close to flush. Okay, so I'm going to drop the drop targets. Tell that this one is come out a little further. I can just feel in with my fingertips whether they're flush. This top one needs to come back a little bit. I'm just pulling this plate out this way a little bit to drop these drop targets a little further from the surface. That is pretty close. I'm going to leave it there for now. Snug it up a little bit. We'll see where we're at. Something new here. I've done a lot of these. I set it this shaft here. Doesn't matter which way it goes. Well, on a Bally Globetrotters it does. So that's the head, and the other side has the C-clip. And these two have the C-clip on this side, and that one, again, has head. Well, let me drop these for you. Those middle two drop just fine. The top and the bottom, they're rubbing on the back side. So the pin is longer on the non-headed side. So the side that's got the C-clip is a little bit longer, and it hits this back plate. So they actually have that head has to go on the back side. So I'm going to have to take off the top and bottom one and do them again. So lesson learned. So I just got the playfield down. Just click the game on. It's booting up. They should pop up as soon as the game boots. Looks much better. If you want to scroll back to the beginning of the video, you can see what they looked like before. Drop down very nicely. They're nice and flush. And on the Harlem Globetrotters, that shaft that goes through the center of the bottom of the drop target, it's directionally sensitive. So you want the head towards the body of the drop target assembly, or it won't slide down easily. I don't think that's the case for all of these, because I've done a lot of Ballys, and most of them that hasn't been the case. But this one it is. Maybe the early ones are more sensitive. Maybe that's something, the feature they changed later on. Anyway, if you liked the video, click like. Please subscribe. Adios.